If you're over 60 and you eat vegetables every single day because you think you're doing everything right, this video might completely change how you think about your diet. Because what we're about to share is not about junk food. It's not about sugar or alcohol. It's about specific vegetables, the ones sitting in your refrigerator right now, that under certain conditions can quietly increase your risk of stroke. And the most dangerous part, most doctors don't warn you about this, not because they're hiding it, but because this only applies when these foods are combined with certain medications, certain habits, or certain conditions that are extremely common in people over 60. Stay with us until the end, because the last point we cover is the one most people completely overlook, and it could be the most important one for your health. Before we begin, understand this. We are not here to scare you away from vegetables. Research published in journals like Neurology and Stroke consistently shows that diets rich in vegetables lower the overall risk of cardiovascular disease. But here's what those same studies also show. How you eat matters just as much as what you eat. As the body ages past 60, 3 major changes happen that most people don't know about. Number 1, blood vessels gradually lose their flexibility, making blood pressure harder to regulate. Number 2, kidney function slows down, making it harder for your body to balance fluids and minerals. Number 3, insulin sensitivity decreases, meaning blood sugar stays elevated longer after every meal. These 3 changes mean that foods your body handled perfectly at 40 may create a very different effect at 65. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Let's start with one of the most celebrated vegetables in the world, spinach. Spinach is loaded with iron, magnesium, and vitamin K. And vitamin K is where the conversation gets serious. Vitamin K plays a critical role in blood clotting. For most healthy people, this is a good thing. But for the millions of seniors across the US, UK, Australia, and Canada who are taking blood thinners, specifically warfarin, vitamin K directly interferes with how the medication works. Here's the danger. It's not about eating spinach once, it's about inconsistency. If you rarely eat spinach and then suddenly have large amounts for several days in a row, your warfarin levels can become unstable. This can either cause dangerous clotting, which raises stroke risk, or dangerous bleeding. Both are serious. The American Heart Association's guidelines are clear. The solution is not to avoid leafy greens. The solution is consistency. Eat similar amounts each week so your doctor can calibrate your medication accurately. If you're on blood thinners and you don't know how much vitamin K you're eating, that is a conversation you need to have with your doctor this week. Next, beetroot, and this one surprises most people. Beetroot has become extremely popular as a superfood, especially for heart health. It contains natural nitrates which your body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels and lowers blood pressure. Sounds perfect, right? Here's the problem. If you are already taking blood pressure medication, which a large percentage of people over 60 are, and you start drinking beetroot juice or eating beetroot regularly without telling your doctor, you could be doubling the blood pressure lowering effect. And blood pressure that drops too low is just as dangerous as blood pressure that is too high. When blood pressure falls significantly, especially at night or when you stand up quickly, blood flow to the brain temporarily decreases. For someone whose arteries are already less flexible with age, this reduction in cerebral blood flow can have serious consequences. This doesn't mean avoid beetroot. It means if you're on blood pressure medication, track your readings. Let your doctor know what you're eating. Don't make sudden changes to your diet without awareness. Now, this one is backed by the strongest science of everything we'll cover today, and it's hiding in plain sight. Canned vegetables, canned tomatoes, canned corn, canned beans, canned peas. These are marketed as healthy, affordable, and convenient, and in many ways they are. But the sodium levels in most canned vegetables are shockingly high. A single can of vegetables can contain anywhere from 400 to over 900 milligrams of sodium. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams per day for adults over 50, and many people are consuming that in a single meal without realizing it. Here is exactly what excess sodium does to your body. When sodium builds up in the bloodstream, it pulls water into your blood vessels. This increases the volume of blood, which increases pressure on the walls of your arteries. Over months and years, this pressure damages the delicate inner lining of your arteries, making them thicker, stiffer, and more prone to blockage. This process, called endothelial damage, is one of the primary pathways leading to ischemic stroke. The fix is simple and immediate. Start rinsing your canned vegetables under water before cooking. Studies show this removes up to 40% of the added sodium. Or switch to frozen vegetables, which almost always have zero added salt. One small habit change. Massive long-term benefit. Let's talk about potatoes, one of the most consumed vegetables in Western countries. Potatoes themselves are not unhealthy. They contain potassium, fiber, and vitamin C, but they have one of the highest glycemic index scores among vegetables, meaning they raise blood sugar faster than almost any other plant-based food. In your 30s and 40s, your body handles this efficiently. Insulin is released, blood sugar comes down, and everything resets quickly. But after 60, insulin sensitivity often declines, a condition called insulin resistance, which is common even in people who are not diabetic. This means blood sugar stays elevated for longer after every meal containing potatoes, white rice, or refined carbohydrates. Here's why that matters for stroke risk. Repeated blood sugar spikes trigger a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins in your blood vessels, causing inflammation and stiffening. Over time, this makes arteries more vulnerable to blockage. A study published in Diabetologia found that even in non-diabetic older adults, frequent blood sugar spikes were associated with significantly higher cardiovascular risk. The solution is not to stop eating potatoes, it's to pair them smartly. Add protein, like chicken or eggs. Add healthy fat, like olive oil. Add fiber, like a side salad. These slow down digestion and flatten the blood sugar curve dramatically. Here's something almost nobody talks about, and it may be the most underestimated risk factor of all: dehydration. As we age, the sensation of thirst becomes significantly weaker. Research shows that older adults can be clinically dehydrated without feeling thirsty at all. And certain vegetables, including celery, asparagus, and cucumber, have mild natural diuretic effects, meaning they increase fluid loss slightly. On their own, this is not dangerous. But combine mild diuretic vegetables with low water intake, hot weather, and diuretic medications, which are commonly prescribed for blood pressure and heart conditions in seniors, and dehydration can build up quietly over days. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker. Thicker blood flows more slowly. Slower blood flow means a higher chance of clot formation, particularly in narrowed arteries. The habit fix is simple. Don't wait to feel thirsty. Set reminders. Drink a glass of water first thing every morning. Aim for at least 6 to 8 glasses per day. And if you're taking diuretic medication, ask your doctor specifically about your daily fluid needs. Fermented vegetables are having a major moment in health circles. Kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles, and for good reason. They contain probiotics that support gut health, and emerging research suggests gut health is closely connected to brain health and inflammation levels. But here's what the health influencers don't tell you. Most commercially available fermented vegetables are extremely high in sodium. A single serving of sauerkraut or pickles can contain 400 to 700 milligrams of sodium, and people often eat several servings at once because they're considered healthy. The probiotic benefit is real, but if consuming these foods is pushing your daily sodium intake above recommended levels, the cardiovascular risk outweighs the gut health benefit. Look for low-sodium versions, or make your own fermented vegetables at home. It's easier than most people think, and you control exactly what goes in. Take a moment and look at the bigger picture of everything we've discussed today. None of these vegetables are harmful on their own. Not spinach, not beetroot, not potatoes, and not fermented foods. The real risk comes from certain situations that often go unnoticed. Problems can arise when vegetables interact with medications without proper guidance, when sodium from processed or canned foods builds up over time, when blood sugar keeps spiking without being balanced by protein, fat, or fiber, and when dehydration slowly thickens the blood over days or weeks. These are not rare cases. They are part of everyday life for many older adults who believe they are eating healthy simply because they include vegetables in their meals. The truth is, The difference between a truly protective diet and a risky one is not about fear or restriction, but about awareness. Now, the good part is that you can take simple, practical steps starting today to protect your health. If you are taking blood thinners like warfarin, have a conversation with your doctor about your vitamin K intake and keep your consumption of leafy greens consistent rather than extreme. If you are on blood pressure medication, be mindful when adding foods like beetroot and monitor how your body responds instead of combining things blindly. Try to replace canned vegetables with fresh or frozen options whenever possible. And if you do use canned ones, rinsing them thoroughly can help reduce excess sodium. When eating foods like potatoes, avoid having them alone. Combine them with protein, healthy fats, or fiber to keep your blood sugar stable. Make hydration a daily habit by drinking water regularly, even before you feel thirsty, because proper circulation depends on it. And when it comes to fermented foods, enjoy their benefits but check labels and choose low-sodium options to avoid unnecessary strain on your body. Your brain works continuously to keep you thinking clearly, moving freely, and living independently, and it relies on steady, healthy blood flow to do that. The encouraging part is that you have more control than you might think, not through extreme diets or fear-based choices, but through small, consistent, informed decisions every day. If you found this helpful and feel ready to make even one positive change, take a moment to support the video and share your thoughts. And if you want more simple, research-based health guidance, consider subscribing and staying connected, because taking care of your health today is one of the most important investments you can make for your future.